Well, good morning, friends. It's Tracey from Tea Time with Tracey. Little Miss Magda stole my seat. There's Boris, and I put Pets 2 on for them. Anyways, yesterday was June 1st, and I read The Worm and His Kings by Haley Piper. Anyways, I want to try to do a few vlogs with this camp SeasonAthon put on by Completely Melanie. Here she is. And whimsical narratives. I'm drawing a blank, for goodness sakes. I apologize. And Debyi from Book and Bujo. Anyways, yeah, I'm in the pink cabin. You get sorted into different color cabins, and there's 16 prompts. 14 are which that are books. 2 of them are live sprints and things like that if you want to take part. Anyways, the prompt for this was for Canteen, I think. Read a short book, a graphic novel, something like this. I read a short book. It's 116 pages. Just a sec. Anyways, since it's so short, I'm not going to tell you exactly what it's about, but it's kind of I say an extreme. It's not really extreme horror. It's kind of bizarre horror. You drop right down in the middle of this young woman trying to find her friend that went missing down in the underbelly of a city, down in the tubes or tunnels and whatnot. You go so deep, and there's a whole bunch of people like it's a rave, like it's a party. Everybody's so friendly and nice, and oh, you're new, let's go, you know, like, and all that sort of thing. Anyways, things are a little weird. She meets another person there. Yeah, she meets another person down there, a man that's looking for somebody that he is missing. And yeah, they seem to make a pact. If you see my friend, try to get them out. If I see your friend, I'll try to get them out. And it goes from there, but you're dropped right into the middle of the action. Of course you would be, because it's so short. Anyways, a nice young lady latches upon this female main character that comes down, and oh, come down here, you'll have so much fun, and you know, like, it's so beautiful, it's so enlightening. She thinks that the female main character is here for a reason. She is kind of not saying to the group hordes of people that she's looking for her friend, because she doesn't want to trigger them like she was kidnapped or anything like that. Anyways, I don't want to say too much. This takes place in New York City in 1990, and it goes a little weird, really weird actually. There's LGBTQIA+ representation in this, just putting that out there. And yeah, I don't generally read short books, novellas, anything like that. I like bigger books, but I enjoy this. I could have read this if this was 300 pages, like a bigger, more in-depth book too. But I enjoyed this. It was a jolly good time. Now I have started Pig Island by Mo Hader for Animal on the Cover. I forget which prompt this is for, or which building. I'll put it here. Anyways, I lost my little bookmark out of it, but I'm about halfway through. I'm listening to this on Audible, or Everand. I don't have an animal on this cover, but on the audio version on Everand, it does have a pig on the island. This follows an investigative reporter. He has a wife. They don't have any children. There's kind of a strained marriage. They're middle-aged people. They're together out of obligation, like they've been together for so long. They love each other, but they don't like each other. You know what I mean? So they go to this place. This happens over in Scotland. And they rent this hotel or whatever. But he's there to take a boat from where this hotel is over to this adjoining island that is known as Pig Island, that the local people say devil worshippers live on, and there was some sort of travesty there. There's a foul stench coming from this island, like terrible, terrible stench. But this investigative reporter, what his job is in the book, he goes to like evangelist cult leaders that claim religious miracles and all the things, because he wants to fight back against people, charismatic leaders that are taking advantage of innocent people, that give them all their money and all the things. You're healed and stuff like that. So he goes to infiltrate, to learn about, I'm just doing a puff piece about your wonderful thing, but really he's there for the seedy underbelly to try to find out if it's a real scam or not. That's what he's doing with this island. And he actually has permission to go over to this island because the few people that live on this island want to clear up this long history of devil worshipping, and there's been monsters seen on this island, and people have died and went missing on this island, and they want to clear the air between the local land people and the island people. And he's there to go over and, say hi, what's up? Anyways, this opens up explaining about him, and he's not dealing with the island right away. He's dealing with another church, cult, whatever. So it just kind of shows what he does. But now they're at this hotel, and he's gone over to the island, and people seem very nice. Very nice. There is some young people there, but they're restricted to certain parts of the island. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I really like Mo Hader's writing, her stories. I've only ever read the Jack Cafferty series. I do have another book of hers, The Rape of Nanking, I think, which I have not read yet. Anyways, I'm enjoying it. Whew. All right, friends, I vacuumed this morning. I was listening to an audiobook all morning, like that Pig Island. I'm a good chunk of the way through, so there's some happenings going on that island, I'm telling you. Things I was not expecting at all. I won't say any spoilers or anything, but I'm sitting outside with my pups now. There's one. There's two. It's nice and sunny. It's not too hot out, and the black flies aren't here because there's a nice breeze going on. Yeah. But the book, he ends up going on the island. He had to convince some of the local people to actually bring him over to the island, which was kind of difficult. And the people all seem nice, but they seem very secretive about parts of the island that he's not allowed to go to for safety reasons, which is suspicious. And he does what he does, and there's some revelations going on there. So, yeah, I don't want to say too much. All right, friends, I just finished that book, and ooh, what a doozy! What a friggin' doozy! Yeah, it took me by surprise. It really did. I highly recommend it myself. It might not be your cup of tea, but it is. There is triggers for this. There is representation in this for, I don't know what it would be. I gotta look it up so I can tell you. I don't really know. I don't want to give any spoilers, but just disability, I guess, representation, or disfigurement, or nothing major in regards to the whole story. I'm just saying there's some representation in this, so that's cool. I always like books that include different representations. It's more realistic. Anyways, I need to pick what my next book will be for Camp SeasonAthon. I have a whole list to pick from. I gotta think about that. Maybe I'll listen to The Har, which is gonna be for the audiobook
prompt. It's only almost a 7-hour audiobook. I could listen to that, even though I just listened to an audiobook, the Mo Hater one. But, oh, Magda. Anyways, it's by David Sodergrin. I forget how you say his last name. Anyways, it's about a sea monster. I believe it's a horror. It's in this little tiny community in Scotland, a dying community where people are trying to be pushed out due to big business, big construction developer. I don't know whether it's for a building or a golf course or something like that. Anyways, the older people in this community don't want to leave and they don't want to sell. That's one aspect of the story, I believe. But I think there's a sea monster or something. It's right on the shore. And somehow that gets tangled up into the lives of the residents of this community and the business. So I might start that tonight. Oh, all right, guys. I started the horror. I thought I'd just film this. I'm just starting the horror now here at soccer practice with one of my youngest over there. And I'll see how much I can get done. Oh, well, good morning, friends. It's the next day. I'm a good chunk into that horror book. It's a little after 6 in the morning. I got up a while ago, took these guys for a walk. Had my giant coffee. And I'm going to finish off that horror audiobook this morning sometime. I'm really enjoying it. I read Maggie's Grave by this David Sodergrin. Just a second. Is that a little better? I don't know. It's early in the morning. Anyways, I read Maggie's Grave last year, maybe, and I really liked it. So I wanted to try this book. And this, I forget what I said yesterday. I was talking at soccer, I think, but it is a little coastal village. It's pretty much senior citizens that live there. There's only a handful of houses left with people living in it because this big construction place wants to bulldoze it down and make like a golf course thing. And these old, people that have been there for a long time don't want to sell. They don't. A lot of the houses did take the deal and move out, but there's a handful of people that are bound and determined to stay in their home village, which I respect. Anyways, one of the ladies we're following, she's a widow. She's been widowed for many years, and so she's friends with some of the other older people in the village. Magda! No barking. I got a house full of people sleeping. Anyways, this construction company sends out some goons and, to try to pressure people and intimidate people and stuff like that. But it's neat because this isn't supposed to be a big emotional book, I wouldn't say. But the bond and friendship shared between people that have lived in the same small community for years and years and years, whether you love them or hate them, you have a bond. And she does with this man who lives very close to her. They're friends. They're not together or anything like that. Anyways, so you get, you follow those guys, and then there is kind of a sea monster thing. I'm not going to get into it because the book isn't super long. It's not a monster. I can't really explain it. But she kind of befriends this creature of sorts. And yeah, it's quite interesting. There's gruesome things in this book. There is horrifying things in this book. But this being feels something in her that she has lost years ago, and it makes her happy, even if it's not normal. That's all I'll say about that. But I'm going to finish that up this morning after my kids go to school.
All right, guys, I just finished that horror book. I'm sitting outside bare naked. No, I'm not. I just took my... Oh, butterfly just flew by. Beautiful. Anyways, I really enjoyed that book. Oh, the sun's coming out now. There's Boris. Little Magda's under my seat. But I really enjoyed it. I don't really want to say any more about it because it's not a big book. And, but I enjoyed it. That's the second book of his that I've read, and I enjoyed both of them. I do have one other book of his, I think The Forgotten Island, or something like that. I do have that in paperback. The horror, I only had it in Audible. I bought it on a sale, like $6.99 or something. Anyways, what was that? It was for like the audiobook prompt, but I forget which cabin or place on the campground it was for. But yeah, so far so good with him. They're not like extreme horror. They're not like splatterpunky really. There's some gross stuff in it, but not bizarro. I really enjoyed it. I found with Maggie's Grave and this book, I can picture what this little village looks like, what the atmosphere is like, the tone of the surroundings. It's dark, it's green, it's by the ocean. I can smell what the ocean smells like. I can, all the things. And I'm sure, well, if you're old enough, you have met some real pieces of work that work for big companies that try to bully people. But when you get old enough, you can tell them to back off. And then when you're really old, like this person, these people, yeah, you can, yeah, send them where the sun don't shine. Well, hey friends, it's me from another day. I finished another book that's on my Camp SeasonAthon list. It was for the zip line. I read a thriller. I read Karen Slaughter's Pretty Girls. I have the paperback, but I listened to it on Audible. I used it, cashed in one of my credits, because it's a long book. It's like over 500 pages, I think. Anyways, if you don't know what it's about this, this family that got broke up, totally traumatized when the kids were young. There was 3 sisters. Their older sister went missing, and there was never any resolution. Like, they never found her body. They don't know whether she ran away. They don't know whether she was murdered. They don't know, if she was kidnapped. She just went missing. Anyways, the family got shattered from that, and then fast forward when the other 2 sisters are grown. They have been estranged for quite a few years, like 20 years or something. One daughter is married to a very wealthy man who ends up passing away. And the other one is, she struggled when she was growing up, got into a lot of trouble and stuff like that, but she's kind of got herself sorted out. She's married, she has 1 child. Anyways, some clues come up with what happened to their older sister that went missing years ago. So these estranged sisters come together because they want to try to find out what happened to their sister. Anyways, some clues come up. I don't want to say where the clues come from, because that would be kind of a hint of, where the story goes and stuff. But needless to say, this is a very dark and traumatic, trigger warning kind of book, for sure. There's some very dark themes in this. But you really get to delve into the sisters' lives, and you get to feel what they're feeling. This is the 3rd Karen Slaughter book I've ever read, and I've liked every single one of them. I kind of guessed where this story was going, but only because I've seen other people talking about this book. They never really gave spoilers, but there's certain things I kind of thought was going to happen, which did. But the way that it's portrayed in this book is very graphic, but without being super Well, it is super graphic. That's a lie. I don't want to say that, but it's not shock for shock value kind of thing, I don't think. Anyways, I really, really enjoyed it for as dark as it is. This was certainly darker than the other two books that I read of hers. I read The Good Daughter, maybe, I forget what the other one's called. False Witness? Is that, I think it's that. Anyways, and I like those two as well. Anyways, so I got another book off my list. So I did The Har. I did, which was for the audiobook. I did The King and His Worms for the short book, which I think was for the outhouse, I think. And The Zip Line. So, yeah, I would recommend it if you're into thrillers, into dark thrillers, into disturbing things. Is absolutely one to pick up for sure. Okay, so I think the next book that I'm going to do will be, I forget what the prompt, like what building it's for, but it's to read something like an isolated area or outside area that takes place outside a lot of the time, I'm assuming. I'm going to read Christopher Golden's Road of Bones. And what I know about this is about, it takes place in Siberia, and it's very cold there, obviously. And there's a documentary maker or reporter or journalist or something. He's middle-aged, that he's trying to go and do a documentary or an article about this small community that's way out in the high hell boonies of Siberia, that all the people just went missing. It's abandoned, and they all were just disappeared all at once, and nobody knows whatever happened to the town. So there's stories that it's haunted and all that sort of thing. This will be the second book of Christopher Golden's that I read. The first one was The Arret, I think it's called, something like that. Anyways, I'm going to dive into that one because it's a short book. It's only 230 pages. Because I've been listening to immersive reading, a couple of big books. Well, the first one wasn't, but yeah. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. And when I get home, I'll probably start that. I do have the paperback. But besides that, what I'm listening to today, I'm at ball hockey with my son. I'm just going to go back in the rink here in a minute, but is Robert McCammon's The Thirst. Now, that's not on my SeasonAthon list. That is on like my monthly list, but I might be able to incorporate that in to something. I had this book on my Beefcake Challenge list. That's a year-long challenge about reading big books. I do have the paperback, but I'm listening to part of it on Audible because I had a thing. I've had that on my library for a very long time. I have a very large audiobook library, and just while I'm here, so I have two books going at the same time, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that does that. I actually have 3 books. I'm about to start another book too on my Kindle, so which is Zoe Draven's, I don't know, it's an alien smut romance. That was for my monthly TBR. I forget. It's the first book in the Brides of Calore series, and so I want to start that too. So we'll see.
Well, hey friends, it's me from another day, quite a few days out. I've read some more books. I'll talk about those in another little mini vlog, but this one's getting long enough, and I did finish They Thirst. I haven't finished the Zoe Draven one, but I just haven't stepped back to it, but it's pretty good. And I did read that Christopher Golden Road of Bones. So the Road of Bones, yes, the documentary maker, he had a friend, and they just made an agreement to go up and do this. Just they're feeling a bit lost in the world, and lack of purpose and, you know, failed marriages and all that stuff. Let's go do this documentary. And they get up there, and it's really scant resources. You got to get gas where you can get it because there's nothing out in the middle of Siberia. And they get to this town that was, you know, obviously connected with the world, but it's so far out, people just disappeared. But the regular people that would go out to, I guess, bring supplies on a regular basis every week or 2 weeks or whatever it would be, they noticed everybody was just gone, disappeared. So it wasn't like left abandoned. It was just gone. Doors were open. Everything was still there. And when they get there, it's a little scary. Along the way, they end up picking up somebody that their car broke down. A lady from the area, but not from that little village. And she's a little strange. And anyways, the book's not very long. I enjoyed it. You feel cold when you read it. You feel like you're in the dark, in the snowy, barren kind of little village with wood huts, with the doors creaking, with the wind blowing, with the freezing temperatures. And they got to take everything into consideration because you don't want to break down. You don't want to be stranded. You don't want to be without resources because nobody's coming for you, you know? And anyways, there's more than just human dangers out there. That's all I'll say about that. Anyways, I enjoyed it. I have another book of his, All Hallows. It's based around Halloween. I'm going to read it around then, I think. But yeah, it was definitely an outside book for the most part. Of course, they were in a building sometimes, but most of the book was set outside, so that fulfilled that prompt for sure. I think I am going to use The Thirst as one of the books for the Camp SeasonAthon. I had put Toady down. It's Toady by Mark Morris. One of the prompts were for an intimidating book. I think that's what it was, for something or other. I'm going to put The Thirst down instead of Toady, just because time's running short and I still have lots of books to read. And this was an intimidating book because it was on my beefcake challenge, which are big books. And yeah, so this follows the city of Los Angeles, and it follows an array of different characters. There's a lot of characters in this book. And vampires they're not the regular kind of vampires. Well, they kind of are, but they're not like Dracula. And they are 100% vicious, and there's a king kind of representation of the vampires that settles in Los Angeles, and if he turns people into vampire-like creatures, they are 100% bloodthirsty. They don't care about nothing. They will attack children or whatever. And the handful of main characters, there's not just one main character. They're determined to try to kill the king. I say king, I don't know, I forget now. He doesn't refer to himself as the king. He's the leader, he's the boss, he's the head honcho. But the whole city is ravished, and there are pockets of survivors, and they have to lock themselves away for protection. But it's quite an adventure story. It's different than A Boy's Life for sure. That's kind of a slow, dreadful horror. Swan Song is more of a dystopian, apocalyptic horror. This, I believe, was Robert McCammon's debut, maybe? I forget. Anyways, I enjoyed it. It was really good. So, anyways, I just want to put an ending on this so I can get it uploaded, and I want to say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose, but if not, that's okay too. I still love ya. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, okay, guys, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning, and I will. See you next time. Bye. Boink.